Nigerian singer, songwriter, actress, journalist and activist Onyeka Onwenu was born in May 1952 and first gained prominence in Nigeria as a journalist with a degree in international relations and communication from the Wellesley College in Massachusetts and a master's degree from the New School of Research in New York. Onwenu left a career at the United Nations to return to join the NTA. During her time there, she championed the causes of the Niger Delta. Onwenu began her music career in 1981 while still working with the NTA, releasing the album For the Love of You and charting successfully through the 80s and 90s. She expanded into film, joining Nollywood and winning the African Movie Academy Award for Best Actress in a Supporting Role in 2006. In 2014, she was in the movie Half of a Yellow Sun with Chiwetel Ejiofor and Tandy Newton. She also had a short but memorable period as a host on the Nigerian version of The X Factor and a segue into politics in the 2010s. Onwenu is considered a living Nigerian legend and cultural icon. Originally a secular artist, she now sings mainly gospel music and continues to write and sing about issues such as health, including HIV and AIDS, peace and mutual coexistence, respect for women's rights and the plight of children. She has a latest effort titled Inspiration for Change and is set to release a new album, Rebirth of a Legend, in November.
If you love me, wait for me.
I'm excited to be sitting down with Onyeka Onwenu today, broadcaster, musician, actress. Onyeka, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
I'm excited about this conversation because your story is so rich in so many ways. So I want to get straight into it and start unpacking it. I want to go back to your singing from the womb, you know, being born into an artistic family. Your mother is a musician, or she sang and she acted, and so was your father. He loved music. And, you know, tell me what was it that you're in broadcasting at the time, you have a talent for music and a passion for music. What caused you to make the switch?
It was a no-brainer, really, because everyone who knew me growing up, who knew my parents, knew that I had this talent which I had inherited from my maternal grandfather.
Yes.
And then my mother, being who she was, knew that I would end up doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
But in my family, education was critical, most important.
Yeah.
Whatever else you want to do, get your education. So the family would insist you go to school. And once I'd done my master's, and they said, okay, I think we will let you off at this stage. You know, you can really choose what you want to do with your life. And that was when I went professional.
Yes.
But my mother was very encouraging, God bless her soul. And she would always say to me, don't forget your music, don't forget your music.
So as we talk about your education, I mean, you're foreign educated, went to some of the best universities in the world. How central of a role did your education play in your planning out your career as a musician?
It played a huge role. I couldn't have attended Wellesley College without coming out with the feeling that I could go out and change the world. That's what Wellesley women do.
Yes.
Look at Mrs. Clinton. I mean, she could have won that. She won that election.
Yes.
Hello, but it's in you. If I go back to my growing up with the kind of mother I had, Ochiedike was a strong, powerful Igbo woman.
Yes.
Who put up with so much tragedy in her life and raised her children and maintained a personal life that I admired. She could speak her mind, she could walk into a place by herself, take over the whole atmosphere. That was my mom. So having that, being brought up by such a woman, and then having Wellesley College, I couldn't but use my talent to do more than just showcase myself. You're given a talent for a reason, and I was taught this from an early age because my mom used to teach me these songs, and we would do duets, and she would take me to places where we raised money for motherless babies' homes. I mean, she'll put me on the table and stand next to me because I was so small. But I learned that the talent was for something bigger And that's what I've done with my career. Yes, I sing about love, it's a beautiful thing, but I also sing about issues. I use my celebrity, so to speak, to draw attention to issues that concern women and girls and those who cannot speak for themselves. That is why you are given the talent. That is what is fulfilling about the profession that I'm in.
Why the specific passion for women? There's so many causes that you could have used your platform to advocate for. Was it because you grew up with a single mother that you felt, it was relatable to you, it was natural, and you wanted to play that mother figure to other women out there?
I think that had a lot to do with it. By age 36, my mother had become widowed for the second time. Her first husband died just a year after they got married. Very hard. She had a knack for marrying handsome men. The guy was dark, handsome, rich, the whole shebang. And just a year, he died. And then she married my father, a self-made man. He went to Fura Bay and Durham University. They spent time apart while he was struggling to train himself. And then he comes back, becomes the first R&D Zogo man in the Federal House of Assembly. And just 2 weeks before he was to become the Minister for Education for Nigeria, he dies in a motor car accident. So at 36, my mother with 5 children said, I've had it. Where am I going to take these 5 children? Plus all the relatives that my father had gathered. He was a gatherer.
Oh, that's a true politician.
Where do I take them? So she remained single. And I saw her, I watched her fight the fight for women. Even in our family, my cousins that were married off and their husbands were violent towards them, my mother would physically go to fight. And and when the men saw her, they knew the game was over. You find your way to escape. So I grew up with that. And because I also watched the women, my mother didn't have a man. My father couldn't have been that way because my mother wouldn't be able to take it, beating her up or not giving her. No, it's just absolutely. So I learned from her that you say you cannot take this and you do not take it.
I'd love to know about an incident where you got yourself into some hot water because of your vocal ways. You're ready to share.
There are so many. Which ones? I got into the elevator and there were some men in there, and as soon as they saw me, they say Nigerian men don't know how to make love. I had said that, actually. But
you said it in the elevator?
No, I had said that in an interview. But what I meant, it was twisted. Now, what I meant was that they didn't really know how to love their women, that women need to be loved, need to be told that they are loved. You take the time to woo them, you send flowers. That was what I meant, not that they couldn't make love.
Oh, they took it.
They took it and said, I am not buying her music anymore. I will not buy her. Let her come and meet me. I will show her.
Oh no!
That I'm going,
we're capable.
It was.
Oh my goodness.
It was funny.
But with such a controversial side to you, how did you end up being the elegant stallion?
I don't know. I'm just
the
myself.
charisma. What was it?
I'm just myself. I don't sit down and say, okay, I'm going to do this. How boring would that be? I mean, I don't have the time. I just be myself in any situation. I find myself. And that's to find value in what you do that gives you that personal fulfillment. That's all I do.